What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right, like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, but we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 Okay?
With time, a seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a lie since it discounts the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are we moving in different directions? Or working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities. Because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed, and we let our own dogma subjectify value. We divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics when we make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant: no one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring and compromising on principles that accounts for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So our monetary systems were designed like structures. It would embody energy and matter so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system governed by maths builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff. Down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money. Merely a tool to shape our reality. Merely a function to harness and express individuality. It's just a way to live freely. Just a means for possibility. When we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it. Something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creations, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territory and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
Right, got the timer a little off today, but whatever. It's Friday. Who gives a shit? Hope everybody had a good day. As we can see, my portfolio took a little bit of a hit, but I do not care. I think I lost about 150K, up about 250,000 on the week overall. That's all I care about. We did see weakness in PayPal where it was running on the options chain. Again, CleanSpark, some of the miners got hit. There was some bug going around about CleanSpark in regard to the CEO selling shares. I actually wrote a post about that too. I know Rex Finance said something about it. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. The company's up 1,000%. And if you're selling 10% of your shares and locking in some of those gains, I mean, I don't really fucking care. That's my take on the CleanSpark thing. And again, like some of the ones that have risen the most in recent days, CleanSpark went up 40% in 4 days. Kind of makes sense that it retraces 6% today. Kind of a non-event, in my opinion. Anyway, we saw some strength in chips again today, which isn't bad. Jostling back and forth between big tech that's been beat up and the chip sector, and then into small caps from day to day and kind of shifting money back and forth, I think is a nice little economic engine. And today's pullback to me meant nothing. And I'll go into that in more detail. So Bitcoin, again, we had a strong pullback. There's probably people freaking out about it. I'm actually not that worried about it. If you look here, again, we bounced off the 200 moving average. That's this orange one on the 4 hour. And we actually wicked above it pretty good. And the important thing is what was previously resistance that we had broken above has turned into support on multiple time frames. Whether it can still hold or not, I don't know. Could we still go to 58,000 over the weekend? Totally possible. Don't really care. To me, it's just a non-event that doesn't really matter that much. But it is holding support right now, and it's holding above these peak volumes. So I would say all in all, and if we jump out to the week here on Bitcoin, a lot harder to see from that perspective, but if we look at volumes again, we got this little volume shelf that might protect us until we get down to 58K. And again, there's a lot of price action here too. If you just look, there's a lot of tops here from years ago that are going to act as support. So I'm not freaked out about it. And if I look at even, like, let's just look at Tesla, and then we'll get into indices. So Tesla, look at this. So again, we had, and this is a little bit messed up on the daily, but we had support, broke down underneath, skyrocketed above, dropped back down. Where did we hit? And then we bounced up. So we're only down 1.15% today. So Tesla actually did amazingly well today in a day where the dollar was strong. And the dollar's been strong. It's been strong for the last couple of weeks. Markets should be dropping when the dollar is strong. Tesla should be dropping when the dollar is strong, not bouncing. Shouldn't be bouncing. It should be dropping. And the reason it should be dropping is because international businesses that have exposure overseas and that have, like, let's say, trade with China and the yuan is losing strength versus the dollar. So whatever they have this priced out in yuans, they're going to get less dollars. Tesla will get less money from this. Again, maybe another drag on Q1 numbers over the short term. So, but it's not dropping. And the reason we're not seeing markets go down, even though we're seeing dollar strength, in my opinion, is because of the Chinese yuan losing strength. And I talk about this in my video about China. If you guys don't watch the video that I produced about China today, do me a favor. Maybe like it, play it in the background and let it finish, and put a comment in there saying that you did. Because when I make videos about China, Chinese bots and just YouTube in general love to suppress it. And it's important that people know what's happening in China, because it's the second largest economy in the world and a huge amount of the population, and has even greater impact on Asia and Africa and Europe and just other areas that it didn't used to. So from an economic standpoint, it is really important to understand the weakness that is going on in that country. And so if you guys, again, if you don't even get time, or try and get some time out of the week and watch the video, it's important to understand what's happening in that region. It's the first in maybe a two-part or a three-part series that I'm going to do. And this one is good, but there's more data that I'm going to pump into the next ones. I'm going to fill in a bunch of gaps. And so it'll get even better the next time, but at least try and understand what's happening in China, because so many people don't. And those people are what I like to call poor, or will be. And fools. Poor fools. Don't be a poor fool. All right, so let's look at indices real quick. So S&P down 0.14%. Wow, the sky is falling. The NASDAQ up 0.1% above the golden retracement zone on the fib. Wow, the sky is falling. So the S&P can't even get back to its previous fib, and the NASDAQ bounced off of it and actually closed up. The world must be coming to an end. And then the Russell dropped 1.27, but that's what we expect, right? When we see money flowing back into big tech and semiconductors and some of the previous plays that were working, we expect to see that things like the Russell will take a hit, because they're the ones that are the biggest benefactors when the chip sector and large caps aren't running. And so I still think they're going to run. It's okay if we back test it a little bit for part of a day. Doesn't mean the world is coming to an end. Bond market, wow, it's dropping more. So I shouldn't say that. Bond volatility is dropping more, which is important, right? Because when bond volatility is going down, it means the markets are probably going to do all right. When bond volatility is going up, it means it's a flight to safety and a point of concern. The fact that this is underneath this moving average on the 50 is good. It's good for markets. Let's look at the Fed tool. What the heck? Why don't we check this out? What are we at? 60s, 76% almost chance, 75.5% chance that the Fed lowers in June now. So it's going up. The probability of lowering rates is going up. That's good. Also, I'm not done with it yet, but the Fed had a We Listen YouTube thing today, and I'm gonna finish watching that, because I think that there could be some signals sometimes that happens when the Fed does these, and you're getting to hear from, obviously, I mean, some people that they just want to have in there so that they can reflect that they're doing great, right? But there's also business leaders, and they have free thought, and they have the ability to speak on their own. And for my previous listenings to these, they're actually a good amount of signal. So I'm going to finish watching that. I think it was a couple hours. I'm going to watch that and see what they have to say. Hi, Jesse. Could I be unblocked on X, please and thank you? Yes, I can, Pab, but you need to tell me what your ID is. I actually think I might have already done that yesterday, so double check it. But if it's not unblocked, I will do it because I'm not a dick. I can be moody sometimes, but that doesn't mean I'm a dick. All right. Economic data. There's nothing until next week. There's really nothing to see here. Some Fed speak, and again, that video that I'm going to finish watching where they're basically listening to a bunch of people within the economy. And I'll let you guys know if there's anything valuable that comes from that. Might make a separate video where maybe I play that in the background and then speak to the points. Something like Jeremy LaFarve likes to do. And then I'll have a wrap at the end, a summary of what I found most insightful. But I think it's important to listen to business leaders around the United States, to listen to different organizations and what the impact is that they're seeing, if you want to know the truth. And then you combine that with the data. Anecdotal with data gives you vision, right? But anyway, back to economic data. Nothing until Monday, right? Fed National Activity Index should be interesting for Feb. Home sales, Feb. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index, March, more interesting out of the data. Building permits, Feb, But Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start to get more. We get Schiller, we get durable goods, we get Red Book. So we're looking at retail. We get all kinds of data is coming starting Tuesday and into Wednesday and into Thursday and Friday. So those will be the big days. So we got nothing to start off next week. I think next week will probably be a bouncer heading into the week. That's just my guess. Or maybe we have play a little bit down to chop. Maybe test some of these fib levels on the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell, and then go up. That's what I expect. Oh, wow. We're in the greed zone for this CNN Fear and Greed Index. Who could have known that we're just continuing to do what we were doing with still kind of what looks like a trend to a breakout to the upside? Again, this is kind of a flat line. Almost looks like an ascending triangle of sorts in my mind. All right, let me look at some bookmarks here, see if there's anything interesting I wanted to talk about. So Tesla had some news about, and I don't even know how legitimate this is, but some news that came out about them, from Reuters, so they used to be reputable, about a reduction in just the amount of time that they're working in the factories. And that could be true. And I don't expect good things out of Tesla in Q1, so that could be a thing, right? But then we get some contrary information from Roland Percher, talking about how European car sales by brand from January to February, and showing that Tesla actually saw a 41% increase. So, not a lot of companies seeing that. Some seeing declines, like Volkswagen. Some seeing just barely double-digit increases, or single-digit, or again, lowering of sales results. But not a lot seeing 51% increases. A couple of really small car manufacturers, but not anybody close to Tesla's scale. That's interesting. So that kind of conflicts with what we heard, right? And then I bought some Tesla calls, just a couple. I didn't do a lot of buying. I'm trying to dial back on just focusing on all the busyness and all the bullshit that goes on in markets per day. Again, my focus right now is my own personal health and well-being, and then secondary, understanding the big picture of what's going on, and then family is in there too, probably before that again, right? But from a this standpoint, it's understanding everything that's going on. Over content. I could make a bunch of money. My YouTube channel has already taken off so much. The monetization and all that stuff is just going through the roof each month. And I've only been doing this for like 90 days. But I don't give a shit about just creating content for the sake of content. If I wanted to do that, I could probably produce 2 or 3 more videos a day and just rake in money. And I'm talking about like 6 figures if I did that. But I don't give a shit. That's not my objective. My objective is to understand what's going on in the world of finance and the economies around the world so that I can provide you guys with value. Because if I'm fucking wrong, the amount of content and that whether it looks good and has pretty thumbnails doesn't mean shit. So first and foremost, stay alive and take care of my own personal health and spend time with my family and make sure that I have balanced priorities for my own mental health. And then 2, macro, and just everything else. I got to understand the world around me so that I can help you guys, or try to, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. That's my focus right now. Anyway, another thing here. Lots of Cybertrucks. Lots of Cybertrucks ramping, man. 370 spotted outside of Giga, Texas today. That's a big number. And Elon even responded about this saying, like, the ramp is in full progress. It's important to note that. People are spending a lot of money. A lot of money on these Cybertrucks that they didn't think they were going to do. And that's offsetting a lot of downside risk from the Cybertruck side that people were accounting for, including financial analysts. So maybe we have lower numbers in Q1. There's a lot of people guiding down towards lower numbers in Q1. Troy Tesla-like and people within the Tesla community, and just broader analysts in the analyst community and the official like finance side. But here's the thing. If they're starting to look for everything to be bad, and then they're confused by how good the Cybertruck is, and they're not properly accounting for energy, and they're not looking at FSD, 12.3 or 12.4 pseudo 13, and they're not realizing just how much better things are getting, they're going to miss stuff. And maybe again, Q1, I hope fucking Q1 goes down. So for Tesla, I hope you are looking at a person right now who wants to see the stock drop, even though I have like $275,000 in calls. I want it to go down. I want more of it. If it could drop to 100, I would be fucking ecstatic. So if you're looking for my bias, it's me wanting it to go down, but warning you that it might not, or it might not for as long or as far as people want it to. So keep that in mind. Also, I said I wouldn't be surprised to see the broader markets bounce before the end of the day. That's pretty much what they fucking did. Right? Tesla was down like 3.5% today. Then it closed down like 1.25% or something. Bitcoin popped from where it was at and got back above its support line. Like, this is pretty much what happened today, right? Pretty much spot on. And again, I said, hey, Tesla might bounce here. I talked about Clean Spark. Don't freak out. I think this is about it. Oh, I did want to mention Hood. Looks like Hood on March 26th has the new gold standard, which has to tie in with their gold member program. Very excited to see what this entails. That's coming in 4 days, so next week. I might even do like, I don't know, maybe a live stream at the time just to see what it is and talk about it real quickly, maybe, or maybe it's just a post. Maybe it's that simple and I don't want to waste a bunch of time. But that's something. And this is the China video. Watch the China video, please to God. Just play it. You don't even have to watch it. Play it to help the algo. Comment to help the algo. You would benefit if you watched it, but you don't have to. So please, fucking do it. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Let's get over and start looking at some tickers here. And I'm gonna start at the top of my list like I usually do, and then we'll go down it and figure out what else is going on. And again, semiconductors actually had a really good day today. So I'm not really going to go into that. They just keep going up. That's a good sign. It's a good sign for the economy. PayPal, I'm going to start down here. PayPal was down, but then it's up in aftermarkets by 0.11%. And it's okay that it had a down day. It's okay. It still showed strength today. When you look at the 2% drop, like Square was down 3.9%, Hood was down 4.14%. There were other fintechs that were down more. And this one had still a week that was bullish and above. It bullishly engulfed recent candles, and it also ended above the previous resistance line for 2 years. So let's just take it for what it is. It could have back tested to that line, and I still would have been happy if it didn't crack through it. Okay? That's PayPal. And let me see, Hood. So Hood took more of a hit, but I ain't even remotely worried about that. That just took a hit because Bitcoin took a hit. That's literally it, right? And if we look at this chart, it didn't do shit. And we have volumes that are building up here. So if we get any kind of bounce heading into next week, we got a nice little volume shelf above the previous fib that we didn't even back test to. So I'm not worried about Hood. Sure, it dropped 4.14%, but it's already at 0.54 in after hours. kind of a general theme here that it already seems like we're bouncing. SoFi. SoFi went down 1.88%. Nothing happened in the after hours, but let's look here. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom. So again, we bounced nicely off of this previous support zone that I had referenced here, where there's a high amount of volume kind of in between here. Let me broaden this out a little bit. Where we had this previous resistance line turned into support more recently. And again, this kind of peak in volume that's turning into support. I don't see us getting below the 0.5. I would have liked to have closed the week above like 740. That would have been cool. Didn't happen. Doesn't really fucking matter. Let's look for next week. I think it's going to happen next week. That's where my money's at. All right, I'll pull up Square. Square, still pushing resistance. Looks strong. I'm going to move this way up because we aren't down here anymore. Square's only down 72%. I say only down 72% like it's not a big thing. From highs, well, its first high really, I mean, for a double top almost, 1,133 days ago. So this has been very beat up for a long time. It's not surprising that its downward resistance line that started about 2 years ago is taking a little bit of effort to penetrate, but I do still see that happening because we have strong volume support underneath of us. That's Square. Palantir. I'm going to try and move quick today with charts, and so I can get to your guys' requests and so that I can get through chat as much as possible. And again, tomorrow I should have one of these. So if I miss you today, make sure you get your comments in and or come on live tomorrow and be one of the first people to hop on when you get a notification from me by ringing or clicking the little alert bell and making sure that you're subscribed here. And if you're a member, paying $2.99 a month, you can ask for a stock and I'll pull it up. Not just its chart, but its financials too. And nobody I know does that. So that's a benefit. Palantir actually, again, more chop. Very indecisive candle for the week. It's above support. Nothing exciting here. Let me look at my new one, DLO. And then we'll hop over into a couple of Bitcoin mining stocks. Maybe some MSTR. And then we'll roll over to your guys right away here. All right, so again, we have closed above peak volume. We do have a large volume shelf, the greatest volume in the history of the company sitting underneath of us. And the way this is sitting, it looks like, here, I'll just draw it real quick. Probably should. Resistance. Support. Let's just do it like maybe this. And actually, I'm going to go a little bit higher because some of these are wiki. And I'm going to use it like this for now until I need to change it. So what I see here is what I believe to be a bullish pattern. And I believe next week, if we do get a bounce in markets, general markets, I could see us testing up to the 16 range very quickly and maybe even going above that to get above this volume peak right here. But I would expect by the end of next week that we're above 1650, 1670 and looking to break out of this and go higher. Got to remember, June of last year, or August, this thing was all the way up to $24, and right now it's at $15.50. And the economics of this company have actually gotten better in that amount of time. I'll show you real quick here, and then I'll move on to miners and MicroStrategy. So August, oh, what the heck? What the heck? DLO. All right, so again, August, and some things didn't. Net income dropped. Sure, you can make that argument, but let's look here. So Q2, we saw a peak in net income, and then Q2 over here, revenues are actually bigger since then. We're seeing stock buyback. We're seeing shares going down. We're seeing a stronger cash position. Operating expenses are still kind of up, but estimates going forward are looking good again. And in Q2, we're supposed to have a new high in EPS. So again, and this is off of 59% revenue growth year over year. This is a good setup in my opinion. So I would have been buying into weakness today. I actually probably should have been buying into weakness today. But again, I had stuff going on. My health first, macro, figuring stuff out. Wanted to make that China video because I believe it's very crucial to understand China. So those were my drivers. But I might start nibbling into more DLO next week. I didn't look at what the options were at. Look at this. Sucks though. It looks like it was down 2% today, but look at the shit. It's already up 1.5% in after hours. So it really didn't drop at all. So maybe that's not going to be that much fun because it's just bouncing. All right, let's look at MicroStrategy real quick. MicroStrategy looks good. This looks good. This looks good. This is a great, look at this bounce from here, 1236. Didn't even hit the fib. Didn't even hit the previous resistance line that goes back to the .com bubble or some shit. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, literally the .com bubble, right? So this resistance line goes back to that time frame. Couldn't even back test to the previous fib, let alone this downward trending line that would be support now. And look at this massive wick on the weekly, guys. The week's done for this. This is fucking beautiful. So if you're bearish on MicroStrategy right now, I don't know, you're being an idiot. That doesn't speak to your intelligence. Well, I mean, it might. But, yeah, Clean Spark. Let's pull that one up. Again, look at the big picture. Do you guys see what I do? I start off, I let you know, unblocked. Okay, cool, Pab. Glad to hear, bro. I thought I got you already, but yeah, I'm trying to get caught up with everything from when I was sick. But Clean Spark, again. But look at what I do here. Let me just go on a quick rant, right? I'm not focused on all the minutia and bullshit. That's why I'm good at what I do. I don't get caught up in like, oh my God, this thing happened. Everybody should give a shit about this today. Should you? Does it really fucking matter? What do I start off with? I show you my portfolio for transparency, but then what do? I look at indices. I look at different sectors. I talk to economic data. I talk to macro news that matters. I would have been macro to micro. I would have loved that, but everybody's already fucking done that. So I couldn't be that, right? So I'm micro to macro. But it's the opposite is the way I look at this shit. You have to have a big picture view of the world. You have to understand the fundamentals of the companies you're invested in. And then you can start looking at the minutia of different things. And that's why I do the market recap this way. And that is how I've become successful at investing. So I highly encourage you, go back, look at the broad view, then zoom in as needed. That's how you succeed in investing. It's actually how you succeed in life. Took me a long time to figure that out. But look at Clean Spark. I just talked about this today. I said, hey guys, yeah, we're dropping hard. And we dropped freaking hard. We were in the 1860 range, right? But is it magical? Look at this. Look at this. My astrology for men, right? Here we are. Or for Chartists. Miraculously, we've closed above the previous resistance line and turned it into support. Isn't that just fucking convenient? And if we bounced off of that heading into next week, wouldn't that just be utterly convenient? Seems like it. What else do I want to look at? Fuck. Yeah, let's look at other stuff. Let's look at your stuff. We're moving on. Let me see here. NVAX. I don't think I have it, but man, I will try and take a look. I hope everybody had a good day today, though. China video was fire for me. The Jesse chart. Do you have a YouTube Premium? Oh yeah, if you don't have, was somebody talking about ads? I do have ads cranked up. I have ads on. So if you don't have Premium, if you don't have YouTube Premium, you could experience a couple of issues, guys. Not just for my channel, but just in general. Goat equals Jesse. Thanks, Trunk Donkey. Yeah, so here's the thing. If you don't have YouTube Premium, get it. Just get it. I don't give a fuck if you don't like Google or any of that stuff. YouTube is the best place to watch video from content providers right now. When that changes, I will let you know. I will be one of the first fucking people to let you know. But if you want to watch content without ads that waste your time, get Premium. Get it for a number of reasons. If nothing else, you can also get it for YouTube Music because that comes with it for free. So if you have YouTube Premium, you get music for free. So no ads. And then you get picture-in-picture without having, like right now on mine, if you have ad content or mid-roll or stuff like that in YouTube, you don't get picture-in-picture. I think that's the cause of it. I'm not 100% sure. It's not easy to find the answers to this thing. But I know at least people on iOS, I haven't confirmed it on Android, have issues with picture-in-picture. And I think it's associated with advertisements and the way that they're being dished out. But if you have Premium, none of that fucking matters. because shit just works. YouTube, yeah, Matanga. Hopefully I'm saying that right. YouTube Premium is awesome. So even if you don't like Google, I'm not a fan of Google. If Tesla makes an iPhone, I will get rid of that shit. I will not move to Apple because I just hate that ecosystem. I was in tech. Don't get me started on it. If you're a graphic designer or YouTube, content provider, I can see why you use it, but I hate that shit. So I'm not doing it. But I would love to get off Google related stuff. And I don't like censorship from YouTube, but it's the best platform right now. And you got to use what you got to use, right? So why let people steal your time with advertisements when you could just pay them for premium until shit gets better? Anyway, all right, so I need to pull that one up. I said I was going to pull up NVAX, and then I got distracted by my own thoughts and a bunch of stuff coming up on the screen. But let me get this one here. So this is our first one we're going to roll through. It is Novavax. Novavax. Let's see here. Woof. Painful looking chart. Painful. Let's go back. How far back do I got to go? Jesus Christ. What is this? I mean, this is either a W bottom or this is a really shitty company. Which one is it? Let's see. Let's look these guys up. What do you guys do? Get Brave browser. Brave browser is great. I do use that. I'm using Chrome again right now though because there are some issues with video playback. I do like one of the things they do. They default to what is it? Oh God, what is the platform? DuckDuckGo for search. Use DuckDuckGo. You could use that and not be followed quite the way you are on Google. Works just as good. Use that. Use Grok for AI. Or if you don't have access to Grok, use ChatGPT even. But don't use Google. Not that ChatGPT doesn't have its own problems, but we need to start penalizing companies that try and control what we can see and hear. I do think that's a good thing, but I still say get YouTube Premium. Anyway, Novavax, at least for now. It'll get better, guys. We're gonna get rid of all these shitty companies. Biotech. That's kind of interesting. Short interest is 40%. These financials look choppy as best. This is why I like ARK. Does ARK-G already have this one? I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna figure out if ARK-G has Novavax. Because here's the thing, why have the single risk of company failure when you can get the benefits of an options play on ARC Genomics where they have like 50 or 100 different funds or companies they're invested in within the genomics sector and biotech, when you have just this craziness. Look at this. Like, these such choppy shit, massive share dilution, losing cash. All this is just all over the place. Losing money most quarters, 178 million last quarter. Valued at 659 million, could be bankrupt in a year. Who fucking knows? Look at their guidance is shit. So like, why invest in this shit? Not to attack your stock. This is how I roll, guys. If you give me a stock, you better give it to me knowing that I'm gonna give you my opinion. Okay? So just so you know. All right, next one, DE. That's coming from Peak Mew. DE, please. I'm trying to diversify outside of crypto tech, fintech. Sorry for the double ask yesterday. I wrongly assumed you would know I was an alpha member. I'm old and can't operate YouTube well. Hey, dude, I'm fucking old too, so it's all right. And I'll try and see if I can get those icons out there for the alphas, the wolf that I was talking about, and then a whale, just so I can tell you guys apart. And if you're in that bracket and that's the emoticon you have, then other people can't use it and pretend to be like you. So I will try and do that. All right, so DE, let's take a look here. And I'm going to try and be quicker and less of my bullshit in this one, even though, every once in a while I got to do some bullshit. All right, deer. Yeah, okay, I remember that was the second part of your request I didn't get to. Gotcha, sir. All right. So you can see here that we have different plateaus on deer. Now, are we going to get a massive wick down before we go up again? I don't know. We're definitely... Deer hasn't done bad, and I do have concerns about the global economy, especially China. I don't even know if Deer has sales in China though. So I'm looking at the live feed now, guys, too. and going back through the old stuff in the order that it was put in for the stocks. That's how I'm doing this. So you guys can say stuff to me. If I'm pulling up one of your stocks like John Deere, and you're like, oh, he needs to know this thing about John Deere, then just throw it out there and I can pull it up. Let me see what I got to do. Deere & Co. I didn't realize it's that now. Okay. All right. So yeah, so throw out any notes that you want. Yeah, Brave is better, and you can actually earn Brave token too, which I think is I personally don't use it much, but it's nice, and you can give Brave token to the sites that you're on. Not that they'll use it, but again, Brave is kind of like a knockoff of Chrome, and then you're not as associated with Google and less ads, all that kind of crap, more privacy, all for it. Revenue going down for 4 quarters. This is my fear, and this is like, so you might be helping me from my macro view right now and being able to display some of that to people. I don't know how much these guys have in China related sales. I might have to do some research to see if I could better understand that. But look at this. Look at the revenue declines for John Deere. Not great. Not great. 3 quarters. 4 quarters of revenue decline, 3 quarters of net income decline. Is it getting better? Let's look at estimates. No. At best, it's flattening out. So let's look here at activity. Institutional ownership was in decline for a while. Seeing buying, though. I like the insiders buying. They say insiders can sell for any number of reasons. People always get scared about the sell side, but they only buy for one. And that's because they think in the future that it might go up. So it's actually kind of interesting that we do have more purchases than sales. Might not mean a ton, but it could be signal. So we track it. Stock-based comp doesn't matter. Again, operating leverage. So their expenses are staying low, but their revenue is, it looks declining, which is not great. I don't love to see that. So this could be a broader signal for the economy. Like we got rising debts, lower cash position, at least in regard to like heavy machinery and construction. And again, so I don't know how much they get impacted by China. I'm guessing it's a decent amount. I will look and see what their sales are for China, because I want to know that for my own edification. I need to know China sales. All right. So I'm going to follow up with that. And I do still have my talking points from yesterday on the stuff that I'm following up on too. I just haven't done it yet. All right. So anyway, so I'm not super excited about this, right? We're looking at year-over-year revenue declines of -4%. This is a $111 billion company. They're pulling in 1.75, which is good. And it was higher. It was in the 2s. That's not a bad, a P ratio of 11. I think even in the construction and machinery, like heavy farming stuff, isn't a bad PE ratio right now. But I do worry that this 200 moving average has been moving up. And I do think we could spend time underneath of it. And the question is how much time and how much are they intertwined with China. So I need to know more. I can't give you a really good beat on what I think of this without knowing more about China. All right, next one. SPWR, I think that's SunPower, just rebounded 2 times from this. Could it make a third? PWR, I think I was looking, oh, I got to make a copy of this one. I am going to see, guys, about getting a website where I have all of the everything I put in here. I want to have a website where every one that we pull up and that I've looked at is automatically shared and then available to you guys afterwards, so that you can see what I already did with the chart and then go from there. Because I want to empower you guys, and plus it'll give you an idea of, like, if you're trying to learn technicals, doing your own version of it on a chart and then seeing what I did might be beneficial for like the educational experience too, of trying to understand some of these things. So I think that there's value there, and just ease of access I think is valuable too, right? All right, so this thing's a bottom feeder, right? 3rd time's the charm down here, under peak volumes. All right, I'm gonna check real quick on the daily and see. Wow, just a clusterfuck of missed earnings going back to 2022. So in 2023, when things should have still been okay, these guys immediately, yeah, I just know, I've heard that they're not best of breed in the solar arena. Let's look at them though. Wow, they've really been hit. So they're $482 million, but a 28% year-over-year revenue decline, not a lot of share dilution, not a lot of cash, and more debt. Like this has definitely went the wrong way. Operating expenses are actually trending up throughout all this loss in revenue. I hate that. Lost 123 million last quarter. We see potential for like a bottoming or at least stability in the next 2 quarters. Short interest has increased from 15% to 22 of float, right? So outstanding share is 22%. That's a massive amount of short interest. And I don't know where these guys make their margins if it's just on installations. I don't know enough about the company, but I do worry about the solar sector. I mean, this is not what you want to see. Revenue going down while operating expenses are going up. How much are there? And 1.42% revenue from stock-based comp. That's probably not horrible considering. I mean, they should be like nothing right now because this company's desperate. 23% short interest is just a horrific fucking number. There's institutional ownership in this, but again, it looks like it was going up. Now maybe it's flattening out and looking to go down. Could this get better when rates go down? I don't know. I don't know how these guys are doing with the rest of the market. Maybe it could. Maybe it could. Maybe it is just an interesting bounce play. If the economy isn't falling apart, I could see us at least come up to the 200 moving average, which is a $17 level from 275. I like this one as an interesting play off of a bounce with a small percentage of a portfolio, maybe 0.5% for me, maybe 1% just for shits and giggles, off of the rates are coming down play. I don't know if it's the best entry point right now, but maybe in the next few weeks, rates coming down. Yeah, so I'm gonna research this one more. You got me interested. All right, Michael, looking back at the previous BTC halving events, it usually runs 30 days after the halving. It usually runs 30 days after. It can vary so much, man. That's such a hard thing to gauge. What we have seen thus far is mostly just the ETF run. Yeah, it's not just ETF. I mean, it's ETF and corporations being able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. We haven't really seen a lot of corporations reporting on that, but I believe in the next year we will because FASB accounting rules have gotten way better. So they're not having to write this thing down to the lowest level of the quarter anymore. They can actually write it down for what it was at the end of the quarter, which is how accounting should work. And so before it was a detriment to an accounting balance sheet. Now, with the way the world is going, and if you listen to BlackRock talking about how it's Goal 2.0 and it is flight to safety in a world where people are scared about governments printing away their money, or exhibiting too much control like China. And man, if that doesn't seem like the fucking world we live in, I don't know what does. That was a decent rant. Excuse me. Cough there too. All right. So I don't know what the halving event, what's going to happen, but it's not just ETF inflows. It's more than that. It is a broader shift, and Bitcoin is just going to keep going up. It's just the best store of value on the planet, and that's for a ton of reasons that you can find in all my videos. Intelligent computing, please look at Fiverr. I think I did this the other day. I will look at it again. I think this is one I was actually going to take a look back at anyway. Or maybe this is a different one. Or I didn't save it. Oh, no, it's 2 hours. It's Fiverr. Oh, I didn't save it right, though. For some reason I got Best Buy overwritten on it. Anyway, so you can see these guys. Here's the thing I like. They beat expectations every quarter. That's great. Let's go over here. And this is like a platform where you can get people to do work, right? You can like say, hey, I got this thing I want to do. And then they can say, here's my bid. I can do it. Here's my previous work. And then you set up a contract with them. Based out of Tel Aviv, Israel. I would say, let me see here. It's like they've taken a decent hit since, well, I mean, really, they fell off the cliff in May. So they went down hard in 2022, like most tech companies. right? And then they've still been trending down. Maybe some of that could be from the Israeli war too. I'm not sure because it looks like in February 2023, I don't know, when did that war even start anymore? I think it was the latter part of last year, like August. I don't know. Maybe it would have bounced up, whereas now people are just like, I don't know if I want to invest. There's still so much going on in that region. That's a potential thing. But let's look at the finances. Yeah, they don't look horrible. If anything, they look like we might have had a little bit of a trend up, a little bit down here recently. But share dilution came down, so it looks like we might have got some shares back. A little bit of debt, higher than assets. I don't love it. Operating expenses seem to be going down. Cash flow is going up. Net income is positive at 4.7 million, but it's an $837 million company. PE ratio is showing as super fucking high right now because again, they're just not that profitable yet. But this could be a transition where maybe they're working towards that. So that's interesting. Let's see what estimates look like. Yeah, okay, and I might remember looking at this. So, like, again, going up. EPS is looking like it's going to take a decent leap and that these guys are going to go higher. And I could still see international contracting, trying to get people to do work for low amounts of money for bids. I could see corporations wanting to do more of that as they're maybe trying to tighten their own finances in the future. This is interesting. This is just an incredibly beat up stock. And I do think I had this on my other sheet, which I'm going to be going over, but I will add it. I will add it on here too, because I think maybe this could be a decent upside play. All right. Love you, Intelligent Computing, by the way. You're awesome, man. I love it when people contribute in a really positive way to the community, and you're definitely one of those people. Remind me of my friend Chris Federal. Chris, you shouldn't use your full name on social media, by the way. Not a good idea, especially if you're hanging out with me, because some people don't like me, and you don't want to stick up for me when they don't. I'll go after you. Ready for Monday to hear DD on DLO. I don't remember doing DD on Monday. I might. I mean, they had their. I guess I've never really followed up after their quarter, and I should. And maybe I told you I was going to. So yes, I should take a look at that. I should take a look at that and do a follow up, especially since I kind of brought people into it. I've talked about it again, though. I did talk about it in the market recap. I do think that this is one that is a good buying opportunity at this current level. Lisa Marie, thank you for being a member. Thank you for yesterday's reply. I'm curious why PayPal leap strike $95. I have requested additional strikes from my broker to look at the op calculator dedicated to learning every day. Yeah, so if you haven't, Lisa Marie, definitely watch the Option 101 video. It goes over kind of why I choose things. Now, I use there's a couple, you could find options chains for stocks. Like, let me do this. We'll do PayPal, right? So this is the NASDAQ.com. I'm looking up the stock PayPal. You can do a lot of stuff in here. It is a helpful tool. You can look at earnings. You can see options change. You can see insider activity, like what are they selling or buying. I use a lot of these institutional holdings. All this stuff can be valuable. I like visual stocks better though because it takes a lot of this data already and just puts it in one place. But we'll go to options chain for PayPal, right? Now, and I'm looking in here. And what did you say? Which one? For the 95. So that's my 2026 stuff, right? That's what I started buying in 2026. And I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna do out of the money because a lot of the times I go right outside of the money because I like the heavy return. I give myself lots of time, which lowers the theta decay. But then I go out of the money, which kind of increases it, but not to the level as a shorter time frame. Now 95. Why did I pick this one? Because it had the highest level of open interest. And that's actually probably a lie. It didn't have the highest level of open interest. I probably helped create some of that because I bought into it a lot and talked about it. And with options, it does seem like there's that level of power, right? Which is why I warn people all the time that if they're buying the stuff that I'm buying, to make sure that they look at the options profitcalculator.com site and figure out if it's went up since I talked about it, and then look at getting into a different one. But we can see a decent amount of open interest and volume in here. 65 is a big zone, and now 95 is a big zone, right? Volume, open interest, high. At the very least, even if volume's low, you want high open interest because it lets you know people are looking at it, right? So the other range would be like $80 would be another one. But since I'm going a little bit further out of the money, it's going to make it to where my potential returns are a lot higher. And you got to remember, I've got January 2025 calls right now, tier 2. So just looking at PayPal, I'm actually not doing too bad in PayPal. I'm only down 18%. Actually, it's less than that. It's probably like 17 or 16 because I have another account that's up a bunch. But the January 2026 has helped me a lot, and then I bought down on the January 2025. But I mean, look at this one. I was at 140 strike. So yes, I believe very strongly that January 2026 $95 strike is an easy target. I think we could hit that in the next 4 months. So that's why, right? I wanted to go as far out of the money as I could on that one. And again, this is how you use this option chain. Go to nasdaq.com, pull up the stock, go to options chain, and then pull this stuff up, and you'll be able to see these different changes and what the interest is. Works the same for puts. If you just want to look at puts, you can do that too. All right, GFC, please, from Lisa Marie as well. I will do that for you. It's technically 2 things, but I'm going to assume you're an alpha. So let's pull you up here. I don't have it in here, so let me pull it up. But yeah, so hopefully I can teach you guys a bunch of different stuff over time. You'll get a lot more out of a market recap than you would, you know, an hour or 2 spending it with somebody else. That's my goal. My goal is to be as valuable to you as I can be. I don't want to waste your time, especially people that are contributing financially to help support this work. I'm not here to waste your fucking time. I might sometimes, but I'm not here for it. I'm down 86% on Fiverr. That's thanks, Motley Fool. Don't ever listen to sites like that. Fuck those sites, dude. You know, all of them. Don't. They're there to rape and pillage. I don't know if they're directly there to do it, but just think of them as Jim Cramer. Do you want to listen to Jim Cramer? He gets some things right, but mostly he's pretty scary. I mean, there's an alternative index going against him. So, I mean, that's how good he is. All right, so BFC. BFC is what? VF Corp. It is a $5.5 billion company that is watching its revenue decline. Let's go to yearly. Not a good look. Been buying back shares. Debt loads are increasing. Short interest is at 8.73%. I can't see it in here. He doesn't have it in yet. But I have no doubt that Alejandro will because he's awesome. It is interesting to see that insiders are buying so much and that institutional ownership has creeped up a little bit. Estimates should still show revenue decline, though, and negative EPS. I don't know what these guys do. That's probably what I need to look at. Apparel for manufacturing? Whatever. I don't think this is a good sector to be in right now. I'm done looking at the stock. I could see why it's in decline. It should be in decline. Now, there is a bullish divergence on the RSI, but I just don't want to touch. The fundamentals have to at least remotely line up for me to be interested in a bounce play. Okay? That's kind of the way I look at stuff. So there you go, Lisa. Pab. Hey, Jesse, could you unblock? Okay, and we know that we got you working, so you're good. I did that yesterday. And if I block you guys, I mean, I pretty liberally use the block button. So if you're not a dick, and especially, I mean, the Pab's paying me, right, as a member, I will unblock you. So there's that. All right, MCK. I think I did this one before, so let me just see. Nope, I have not. Let me go ahead and make this here. And again, with VFC, Lisa, if you're still around, you could tell me, like, if there's stuff that I'm not getting, all you guys, if you give me a stock and I finally get to your stock and I'm shitting on it and it's because I'm ill-informed or missing data, it is your responsibility or somebody's to try and correct me. I'm okay with being corrected. Now, if I can disagree with you, right? Like, I could say that I think you're wrong. Wow, this is an interesting stock. It's pretty powerful. McKesson. Okay. But again, just like provide input. If you really believe in something and you know more about it than I do, tell me that. I have people that, and if you're shy, do it in a DM or something on X afterwards. And if I don't follow you on X, ask me in a comment to follow you on X. So that you can DM me. If you're paying me money, I will let you DM me. Okay? So say it on here in the comments, not in the live chat. Do it afterwards because the live chat takes a while to process, like 24 hours. So I don't always see all the live chat. Again, I try and get through it, but I don't always see it. But in the comments, if you throw in something, I do try and answer all of them. All right, so we got growth of 15%, PE ratio of 24. This company is about medical distribution. It has a very low short. They've been buying back shares like mad. I'm going to go to the yearly time scale. So they do make money. They had a little rough patch. It's getting better. Quarterly is starting to decline a little bit, though, on net income. But if we look here, even though we're seeing slowing growth, maybe, there is steady growth. And outside of not being able to make money here, we are seeing growth, and I don't hate that. And cash flow's been positive. It looks like operating expenses maybe are stable or going down. Bought back a bunch of shares. Cash flow's increasing a little bit. Debt's coming down here more recently. Let's look at the quarter. Cash is still actually burning down, and debt's going up. Though if you look at the lower time frame, that's not as optimistic from that front. Institutional ownership was going down, but now maybe it's bottomed. I don't like that they're still insiders are selling more than they're buying. I don't have short interest on this one. Estimates show them getting a little bit better. But this stock has done so good. I don't know if it deserves it. What are we at? A $70 billion company that barely makes a profit per quarter, like 589 million, 24 PE. Yeah, I can't say barely. That's judging it too harshly. So I don't know if it's just institutional ownership into the sector. And medical is probably not going away. I don't know what these guys specifically make, but we know that we have a very aging demographic. So the demand might still be there. So this might be like an okay steady eddy, like keeps going up. I don't know if they give a dividend. They do. Yeah, so that's probably nice too. So they're right at the top of everything, right? Top of peak volumes. I don't see a reason for them to decline if their estimates are right. So this might just still be a steady eddy, but let's look at it from I don't see a reason for them to decline. I'll have to do a trend-based extension because, again, I don't know that they should be down more. I can't even do a good fib here, guys, because it sucks. Like, I'll have to do it from here. Because there's no, like, real March 2020 collapse. Well, probably because of the underlying. So, again, maybe they get some resistance up here at the next fib. That's possible. I mean, this thing's run pretty good since that's 2019. Again, they didn't really have this is the March area. The pandemic barely touched these guys. They're at 117. Now they're up at 532. That's a pretty good run. I don't know. I don't love it. PayPal, interesting. All later option chains go to 95 except December 2025 goes to 110. Yeah, it has to do with the math behind it and just where they open these up. But again, 2025, I got a 145 target still. I wouldn't buy that shit now, but I will sell it as PayPal starts to go higher, and I make a ton of money because of the short time frame in which it goes up. Because there are people that like to gamble at the last minute, and that's where I make my money off of them. I would never suggest doing that. I would use leaps. Your gift from heaven, man. Thanks, Edward. You're a stud, dude. All right, so here, let me go down here. Where was I at? Could you speak a bit to how you feel about the impact of the halving? All right, I already did, so you're good there. Clean Spark, every day, all the way. Thank you. Yes, LB, you're right. Lax Red, thank you for becoming a member. Jesse, can you look at Lulu down 15%? I heard their earnings didn't go well. Asymmetric return on the 2025 leaps, though, after earnings call projecting conservative growth. So I don't know if I love retail right now because if we do have any kind of economic slowdown in the future, people will dump retail in a heartbeat. They just don't care. And Lulu's had such a strong run for so long. I mean, look at this, dude. This must be the pandemic. No, this is just October 2022. So just since October of 2022, when things started to recover, these guys are up almost 500%. Pretty crazy. And then I'll do a trend-based extension here, since we do have a clear definition of the March 2020 low. So we did find strength above this fib. Oh, wait. No, this is meta. What the fuck am I doing? Got to double check. Some of these old ones I must have overwrote. So let's... Oh, yeah. All right. All right. This is better. This is better. Here we go. Lululemon. All right. So let me do this. Pandemic low? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Very clear. So this makes more sense because you'd think that they would have been affected pretty greatly by the pandemic. Okay. Here we go. All right. So we went up. We didn't even get to the golden retracement zone and we dropped. And so from March of 2020, might still be a little similar. I think they made a lot. You made a lot if you bought down here on the dip and retail, assuming the world wasn't coming to an end. Not nearly as much, 200%. And all right, so 200%. And then what was it, 250? What's the cap on this one? $53 billion company. But this company, though, just to put it in perspective, I mean, this was very well run, high-end retailer. Going back to 2017, you would have got this for $48, and then it rode even through the pandemic, and up into 2020, it rode all the way up to 413. So this had a really good run of like 9x between 2017 and 2020. So this did really well for a long time. Now let's look here. I don't know if earnings are going to be in for this one. Maybe it will be since I have premium here. But it's awful close too, and they're probably like after hour stuff, so maybe not. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. But okay, so revenue, I'd have to go back and look at earnings. Their estimates were to do well in Q4, and they missed that. Let me see. I can see that from TradingView probably. No, what did they miss on? What did Lulu miss on? Down 15% after earnings call, positive projecting. Oh, so it was just they didn't miss on anything, but they projected conservative growth. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know. This just isn't as asymmetric of a return as what I would like. You could probably safely buy it here, though, because, again, the RSI is down in the oversold territory. But I just don't know. This isn't a bet I would take personally because I just don't think there's enough there. If you have a good reason for that, let me know, Colby. I have MSTR January 2025 $100 calls. 100? Oh, okay. So you held on to some of the shit I sold a long time ago. That's cool, dude. Ever since the recent pump, they seem to be priced with no intrinsic value. Why is this? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to like almost see your position. Maybe when I post about MicroStrategy on X, you can post that in there and show me what it looks like. It should have extrinsic and intrinsic value. But again, it's one of those things where that this is a weird circumstance where the actual stock might be outpacing the options, and that's probably it. So there's some weirdness where maybe you're not getting the extrinsic value, but you're getting intrinsic or less than intrinsic. That can happen. It can get weird when you have a stock that's running at like an 80% premium to the underlying assets that they hold. It's just a weird place. So if you're holding January 2025 $100 calls, I don't know if you bought them more recently or if you got them like when you must have bought them a long time ago, like when I did. I would pull out of leaps right now on MSTR personally, not financial advice, high school dropout, all the bullshit. But I wouldn't be owning those right now. I'd be owning stock. Because again, there's this massive premium on them. There's so much downside risk in the calls, is what I'm trying to say. I would not fucking be in that shit, dude. Not. I would get the fuck out. I'm not in options for anything Bitcoin or crypto related, guys. None of it. I made tons of money off that stuff. You should have been doing that a year plus ago. Okay? At the bottom of the bear, you should have been buying Leaps and CleanSpark when it was in the dollars. MicroStrategy when it was in the hundreds. You should have been doing that shit back then. Okay? I would not be doing it right now. It's just so dangerous. In my opinion. Because time can get weird, especially if it's not like it's a weird place. You can't do January 2026 calls because the cycle will be over by then. History tells us that. And with all the things that have provided a greater inlet into the market for Bitcoin right now, just means that it's more likely to burn out sooner, not later. And so if it already, based upon history for previous halvings, was going to end in like September to December, Why the fuck, of 2025, why the fuck would you own 2026 calls? You're already fucking yourself. And people will wise up to that. And so the returns on those, I don't think will be as good. And the people left holding that shit are all going to lose their money. Every one of them. So don't buy that shit. Just don't buy. I just don't think it's a good idea right now. Just get the fucking stocks. If you're going to get a 10x on a stock like a Bitcoin miner, or maybe like 6x potentially on MicroStrategy because of its multiple to the underlying of Bitcoin, do that stuff. Just get that. Get the easy money. Especially if you did really well on your options, dude. Get the fuck out. Not financial advice. Nothing is. Dennis Newber. I know it's small potatoes compared to some, but I worked my way up to 750 shares of CleanSpark. Thanks, Jesse. What's your worst case scenario? What's my worst case scenario? I mean, I don't have one for CleanSpark because, and I showed the chart earlier, they found support on the previous resistance line because this is the best running Bitcoin miner in crypto and Bitcoin is going up. I don't have a worst case scenario. Or I should say that my low target for the stock, that might be what we want, right? Okay. Let's do that. Let's zoom out a little bit. My low target for the stock? I mean, I can't even say that. It's at least 150, I think. And maybe it shits the bed and can't get much past 76. That's your worst case scenario, in my opinion, that you make a bunch of money. You only make 350% or 400% from, well, let's see, it's probably less than that now. Let me get up here. So you only make 300%, or potentially you only make, because this is kind of a larger cap, guys. This is right underneath MicroStrategy as far as cap size, or you only make 665%. I've got some people saying 200 now on CleanSpark. I mean, it could happen. It could still 10x. So, but that's not what I give a shit about. I'd be out by 150 because I'm much more conservative. There's tons of other investments that I would rather be in that will have asymmetric opportunity at that point that are more conservative in nature. I know people think I'm not conservative because I made 700% in my portfolio last year and I trade in options. But when I went to Vegas, I didn't even fucking gamble, okay? I'm actually super conservative when it comes to money. I like to find ways to make it aggressively and then to keep it. All right, so let's see. What next one here? Please look at Bark. This is coming from RD, a dog company with strong management. I mean, with that kind of name, it better be. Found a return 2 years ago as a CEO, improving margins and the bottom line, cash flow positive TTM, executing what they promised. They've been hit hard due to their consumer discretionary nature, but are trading at a 0.4 PS profit to sales with half of their market cap in cash. They recently paid down debt, have 130 million in cash and 35 million in debt. Okay, that's a lot of detail, man. Thank you. I like it when people do that. Like it's like you're providing tons of due diligence for me. I think I might have pulled this up already though, but that at the very least, if I haven't, yeah, no, I did. And at the very least, you're giving me a lot of better info than probably what I had before. I do like the fact that we're under the 100 moving average. And everything that you just said, and the peak volume here is just right near us. It seems like we'll want to get above this and break above it soon, especially after this strong run up, right? So, and what are we still down on this one? I don't remember if I looked this up already. If I haven't done a deep dive into this one, you do have me interested now that I got more information. 93%, that is a hell of a drop. All right, let's pull these guys up. So again, we know it's kind of been flat for revenue, but we believe that things are pushing up. This is consumer discretionary. I don't know. It's a dog company with strong management. What do they manage? Can you give me more on this one? Some more color, RD, like what they sell, what they specialize in, if they sell to different markets. If you know it, if you don't, that's cool. All right. So what I want to look at here first. So I don't like the yearly. If I was just looking at a yearly for net income, I'd be like, get the fuck away from this. I can see why it's 93% down. But if I jump out to quarterly, I can share more details and have a discussion on X. Yeah, if you could, that'd be cool. I definitely hit me up with more stuff on X. I probably won't pull up the website right now. I don't want to go that deep into individual ones on here. I might do it later on though, and maybe it's something where I'll do a members only video if I really like what I have, what you provide me with, and the research I do. Now, here's what I do like. So go back. Net income is getting better. Still negative, $10 million a quarter, not a huge amount. Don't like that cash is kind of burned down, but I do like that their debt is down and that they paid some down. I think that's cool. Yes, toy treats, food, dental, all dog. Okay, so really just like total consumer discretionary. So, okay, let me just keep looking here as we talk through it. So their guide is conservative. It's actually still to down, still to them losing money. Not a lot of gains in revenue. I think they're probably right in being conservative because I think consumer discretionary can be rough for a little bit. Subscription based, I do like that. I do like that they're subscription based. I don't like that institutional ownership's been dropping. I don't like that insiders were selling more in Q2 of 2023, and we haven't seen any buying yet. This is almost one where, on a technical play, it might bounce, especially with rates coming down for the consumer discretionary. So I might be interested. I'm going to add this to my SunPower one as far as research. And yeah, if you can feed me more on this, don't make it dog food. But if you could feed me more, I would love to hear more about why this company will do well. And again, history tells us that in a regular market that they still weren't positive for their net income. But I do like that they're trending that way now. And with a valuation of 225 million, it is not much. So this thing could flip from a technical level alone. It's so destroyed that it could be interesting for like maybe a 2026 sleep, depending upon what the multiplier is. So again, I'm interested, man. You got me interested. This is definitely something that I want to know more about. I'm gonna leave it alone for now, though. I'll do more on the chart and stuff later. Because I don't want to do everything with you guys and waste people's time. But thank you for that one, Artie. That might actually turn out to be pretty cool. Oh, you think the chart? If the chart's wrong, let me know that too. Okay. Pull up the NASDAQ stuff, look at insider activity. Let me know if it's wrong. Because if it is, Alejandro needs to know about that too. We don't want abnormalities on here. All right, Mike. Hey, Jesse, can you pull up the chart on AAP Advanced Auto Parts? Oh, yeah, sure. This is my buddy Derek Quicks. AAP is significantly lagging behind its competitors AutoZone and O'Reilly's Auto Part. Yeah, I know. He preaches that shit all the time. You sound just like him. Might have got some of your information from him, I'm guessing. AAP hired a new CEO fall of 2023. Maybe you do your own DD, and if so, I apologize. Who is the president of Home Depot's professional services? I mean, that's pretty good. Being Home Depot was doing well for a while, up until all this shit, right? Home Depot was good up until we raised rates at the most aggressive rate in history. And a part of that was from good management, right? I need to get rid of shit. I'm gonna kill some of these duplicates I have for different things. Like I got PayPal, but it's Apple. What the fuck is that? AMD, that is Apple. What the fuck is that? AAP. I'm gonna kill one of these because I only need one. Okay. Just trying to organize better. All right, good. So it looks like I killed the right one. So very interesting. I would expect, let's see what volumes look like going back here. And I'm sure, I don't know how much, yeah, Derek probably does his own amount of charting, but mine might differ a little bit. Again, you can see where we stopped at previous resistance here. That kind of makes sense. But we got, like, I would say we could get to 100 pretty easy. Peak volumes here. That's also the dot 618 golden retracement zone. So that seems easy. And then maybe some retrace. It all depends on the fundamentals of the company and how they're looking. If I remember correctly, they are good. And again, like you said, lagging competitors. I don't like that the net income was negative for a couple of quarters, but maybe Derek can tell you more about that. I do like that they paid down some debt, that their cash pile appears to be growing, that they have been doing share buybacks. But from a revenue standpoint, I'd like to see more growth than I'm seeing. And again, this is Derek probably knows this way better than I do. So again, EPS looks to be trending back up again, but what's the value of this company? $5 billion. That's probably not crazy. PE says 115. I don't love this as much as Derek. I do like, though, that, again, the buybacks are strong. I do like the fact that they're an underdog against their competitors. Those are interesting. I like, but again, I like when I see insiders doing nothing but buying. That's a strong signal to me. I like the fact that for 3/4 institutional ownership has went up, and that again they were doing buybacks. There are some good things here. I would like more growth, and maybe there will be, and that could be what Derek knows that I don't know. They have a decent amount of short interest at 10%. So there could be some reasons why this goes even further, but I'd say 100 is pretty easy. If I had made a bunch of money off of leaps, maybe I'd start lightening the load around here, just because, again, I don't know, anything can happen. And I only ride these things for a while. I love options for momentum. And again, when we were way down here, like Derek probably was looking at this a long time ago, maybe like in the 60s and 50s or something, is my guess. He probably saw this drop. Like this is when, if you would have brought this to me, this would have went down from 250s down to 48, and you brought it to me when we were here, and this is like a shelf of support from volume and previous trade action, I probably would have gotten into this fucker. And Derek, if you did bring me in around there and I didn't pay attention, I guess I'm the idiot on this one. So yeah, but I don't think so. Sound, everybody wants to. So Anthony, I don't want to shit on your stock, but I'm going to. I don't want to. It pains me, but I'm going to, right? Because is this that AI fucking play? Sound Hound AI. So NVIDIA talked about them for a minute, and that caused the price to go from $1.50 to $10. That seems rational. You should not fucking be in this, dude. Get the fuck out. Anybody who's in SoundHound, get the fuck out. Not financial advice, of course. I wouldn't give that to anybody, right? But get the fuck out. Why get the fuck out? Because this thing has 12% short interest already. They're diluting your shares. Cash is going down. Debt is still like, whatever. That's not much signal. Revenue's going up, sure. It's went up to 17 million, but it's got a $2 billion market cap, and they're losing 18 million a quarter. More than their revenue. Negative cash flow. Estimates are shit. Insider activity. Institutions are buying it, probably because it has AI in it. Nobody seems to be buying the fucking stock that works at the company, and the short interest has skyrocketed. I would probably look at this as a short, but my fear is everybody already has. Don't own shit like this, people. Don't own companies that went up 540% from $1.60 to $10 over a period of months. You're begging to get fucked. If you want to get fucked, Anthony, hold this. It will make sure of it. And if you are in love with this company, I'm sorry, but this is just the fucking truth. That's what you get from me. All right, Johnny Utah. First off, I love that name. Sounds like a porn name, stage name of some kind of actor. If that's your real name, I apologize. But I love it. Next, NEXT. Do you think the arbitrage between our low natural gas cost and high natural gas cost in Europe, in Japan, will be lucrative in the future? I know this company is unprofitable and an early developer. Okay. So that's an interesting question. Trying to see if this will be a dead money play or not. Okay. That's an interesting question. So we do have LNG that we produce in the United States, liquid natural gas, and that has been a huge business. And I think that will still continue to be a huge business. And the reason I think that will be a huge business going forward is because of the fact that Europe desperately needs us. So it's interesting in regard to that alone. But I don't know what these guys are like as far as a player in that. Let me see here. And I don't know. Anthony, please don't unsubscribe because I shit on your stock. No, I'm kidding. Doubt you would, but don't. It'll be your loss if you do. Next. What time is it anyway? Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's 4:20. Doing all right. Not too bad on the hunger front. I'm taking something called Manjaro. Some of you might do that if you're heavy or obese. I am not. And I'm doing it even though it might slow down processing in my stomach, which isn't great because I got gastroparesis, and that's literally what that is. Slowing down processing of stuff in my stomach. Is this it? Next Decade Corporation? Is that right? Is next that? Let me just look real quick. Or is this based out of some other? Next, is it no, Next Decade Corporation, is that right? I think it is. That's what you put down. All right. So this is oh, okay, oil and gas exploration. Okay. Decent amount of institutional ownership, 6.35% short interest, massive amount of debt versus cash. Revenues are gone, dude. They're fucking gone, bro. What is that about? I have no idea what's fucking going on with this company, man. So I guess they have no revenues because they're just in the exploration phase, but are they going to hit? I don't know anything about the gas and oil industry. Institutional ownership is climbing. You got a decent amount of stock buybacks in Q3 of 2023. Short interest is in decline. So these could be signals without me knowing anything about the sector, right? These could be signals. There is no guidance, though. There's no revenue. And their operating expenses are high. And I just don't know how much runway these guys actually have. So there could be signal in the fact that institutional ownership is increasing and that shorts are decreasing and that these guys have been buying back more than they've been selling for their stock. Outside of that, I just got nothing, dude. I need more. They're a $1.4 billion company. So to me, they could still fall more. And I don't understand why they're going up. And maybe it's because there's some really wicked fundamental shit that I can't see. But I can't give you much more on this one. You'd have to fill in some gaps for me. Because it's already went up a lot, right? Like it went down in April of 2022. This thing was at $1, and then it went up to $9. So it's already 9x. So there's not a lot for me to look at. Wild Frenchie, my favorite kind of Frenchie. Bonjour, Jesse. Can you have a look at you, Clear Secure? Thank you. As always, you answered this question before, but how much of a risk do you think China is for Tesla? China is less of a risk. I think it's like 23% of their market. Maybe it's a little bit more. But they can just, as long as war isn't a concern in China, and I don't see that coming for at least a year, if not longer, as long as war with us in Taiwan isn't an immediate threat, I don't think Tesla has a lot to worry about. Now, that could be a narrative that grows, right? So the narrative for the risk of China could grow, but the actual threat I don't think is real right now. And they're going to be diversifying with the Mexico factory soon. There's probably something coming with India. It sounds like they're trying to get more friendly. So I don't know. To me, like I'm not too worried about Tesla in China. Not right now. In the future, I might be. And the narrative might grow where I could be more so. But not right now. All right, so this one, we're under the greatest amount of resistance. Sorry, a little bit of yawn. 2021, they were way up here. So I'm going to do a fib retracement on this. I'm going to assume we found the bottom, and then I'll look into who they are and what their market cap is and all the other fun stuff that we like to look at. All right, so ways to go to the first fib level, $27 range. We're only at 20. And really, this thing just to mean revert, which means just kind of getting back to where its recent peaks were on price action before we hit key resistance levels. The mean reversion would get us up to like 34. So that's a decent jump from here, right? Like that's a 90% increase plus. But what are the benefits? Like, what is this company? It's a $3 billion market cap. Clear Secure, what is that? Software application, probably a security company, my guess. Let me know if I'm wrong. 33% revenue growth year over year. I like that. I like that they're net income positive by 15 million. Shares were getting diluted. Kind of stopped. Operating expenses seem to be going down. Cash flow was pretty decent last quarter. Estimates going forward are continuing to increase. Insider activity, they were selling for a while in 2022 and the beginning of 2023, but that has stopped. Institutional ownership is going down, this says. So that's interesting. I would actually prefer to see that go up. Operating leverage looks good at a glance because, again, we see revenue increase, but this gap, there's a big gap that started to form here between the revenue and what their costs are. And I like that stock-based comp is starting to finally drop. This company looks fairly new. 12% short interest, that's still a lot. So maybe this could short squeeze and cause us to go up a decent amount. I might take a closer look at this one, just because of how far down it is. How far down is it? You guys are giving me a decent amount of homework for over the weekend. That'll be fun. That's something I'm going to try and get better at follow-upping on too, is like, okay, here's the things I looked at. Here's what I was interested in. Here's what I wasn't interested in. Maybe those are member-only videos too. So you guys can kind of see where I landed on stuff and know that I did research it and know why I came to a conclusion. Then you could always tell me, like, hey, I think you're wrong and here's why, or something like that. But so we're still down 67% from the high. And it went down a total of 76%. So again, it's been pretty beat up. Question is it going to come back? Looks like it could. Looks like it could. Looks like things are pretty good. But then we're kind of getting some mixed signals here. Like estimates look good going forward. Looks like they're continue to increase. But then why aren't institutions buying more? And why aren't insiders buying more? I would be. But maybe they just have a shit ton of stock. This is a newer company, so insider might not be as good. Maybe that's not as good of a metric. But yeah, I'm interested in it, so I'll just add it to my list with SunPower and Bark, and then the other ones I had from the other day. How's that? Hotel, Loveless next. They're building a new gas. Oh, Chris knows about it? Okay. All right, cool. Maybe I'll take a look at that one. I'll ask Chris about it on X. He's usually he's a good dude. I like Chris. And he does pretty fucking good research. He's kind of like the contrarian to me on a number of things, but we also really are in sync on things that are most important. And we specialize in different areas, and I really respect Chris. I think he's a great guy. All right. From what I know, they expected security, expedited security in airports and stadiums, etc. Thank you for checking. Oh, okay, interesting. Hey Jesse, are your thoughts on it? Okay, I'll see if I get to yours. Igor, I gotta go back to where I was. Let's see, we got our bonjour from our wild Frenchie. He is good. Weekend incoming. Hope everyone had a good one. Yes, okay. That's us chattering back and forth. Finally subbed. Thank you, Clarence. DJ, Render. Let's look at Render. Render. Why that sounds funny to me right now. Delusional. I guess it's a good thing the weekend's coming. All right, and I don't know. I got to figure out what these cryptos. I probably got this right because, as you can see here, we did get a clear rejection off the fib and came down. All of crypto is taking a hit right now. Altcoins the most. If we looked at the dominance chart for Bitcoin, actually, I'm shocked to see it where it is right now. Must not be the best representation. It has not climbed, and I would expect it to. Actually, let me bring that back for a second, and then I'll look at the crypto market. This could be, though, a shoulder, left shoulder, head, rightish shoulder, breakout up to here where Bitcoin dominates more. I would actually expect that. And if I look at cryptos this last week, not a lot of fun in there. Not a lot of fun. There's always some that fly still no matter what, right? But all in all, if you jumped into crypto in the last week, you got pretty wrecked. The month, again, we still got the high flyers, and this is only showing the week, but you can see how some of these like Bonk and Hex and Beam, and there's some of these are 20-30% drops in a week. And that's just from this timeline. Some are down even further from their all-time highs. So I would expect Render might take off again in the future. It probably the market cap isn't that juicy. It's only less than 4 billion. And then there's that narrative with NVIDIA and these guys, and that alone I think could drive it higher. So I wouldn't expect this to trade with chips, but I could see this going a decent amount higher. I'll have to see if, is this the bottom, June 2022? I gotta see if there's, I'll try and, if I get time, I'll dig into this and make sure that I have the right chart. Or if you know, like, what is the oldest exchange this is on? I'm using Render for the US dollar pair on Binance. Is that the best one? Or is there something better? Because the more history I have, the more accurately I can chart with like a trend-based fib extension to give you better, like, here's where it could go before it hits key resistances. So if you can get me like the right trading pair, that would help me a lot. All right. MMAT up 21% today. I don't know what that is. Well, that went up. It kind of sounds familiar. No, I have not. Might end up. I might end up stopping here after this one too, because I'm hungry. Manjaro hasn't quite kicked in yet, so I'm still maybe starting to get hungry. Did I do make a copy? Nope, make a copy. Hell, too, my brain power's starting to power down. Metamaterials. Yeah, I mean, okay. I can see why this would bounce because it's been fucking devastated. Is it earnings day or something? Is there actual news? Metamaterials releases letter to shareholders regarding upcoming special meeting. Announces proposed class action settlement on behalf of purchasers of Torchlight Energy Resources. Wow, this one's got drama, huh? Can you tell me more about this? What is going on? Pab, do you have any more on this one? So revenues have dropped. Net income was horrific for that quarter. Maybe that was tied to the lawsuit. I don't know. Shares outstanding going up. Operating expenses plummeted along with revenues. So I don't know what happened in 2022 to this company, but they did take a hit. Their electronic equipments and parts. No, wow, this is all retail. So that's interesting that institutions, what does this look like from institutions dialed out hard, but just recently started to get in Q4. Short interest is massively in decline if this is right. Huh. Insiders are buying hard. Forecast looks better, but shit on EPS. Why? Are they having to invest a bunch of money for something? Low on cash, debt increasing potentially. This doesn't seem promising, but you do have some headwinds that there might be some interest. But again, institutional ownership is so low, but the insiders seem to be excited about their growth. And institutions did start to dial in. They almost doubled their holdings, but again, not super strong in holdings. I like the insider buying though, man. I like that. These quarters just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So oh, they don't turn on they after this session's over, Lisa. Comments will pop underneath the video. So once we finish up, I'm gonna be finishing up like pretty much now. I am gonna jot this down. So MMAT is interesting. You guys gave me a bunch of homework, man, but I'd want to know more about it. It's interesting that the insiders are buying so aggressively, and it makes me wonder if these guys are getting ready to become profitable, even though they did have maybe a lawsuit. I don't know. There's a bunch of things going on here that I need to understand more of. And I don't know if I'll have a ton of research time on this one. Short interest became non-existent. That is also interesting because it was high and then it just stopped. I don't know. I'm interested. So I'll look up that one too. All right, guys, I think I am done. I'm sorry for the people I didn't get to. Again, I know there's always a group in here. Hopefully I got most of you guys, okay? Hopefully I got most of you. Hopefully I was able to keep up with a decent amount of the chat and didn't lose too much. And I'm sorry if I did miss you. Tomorrow I'll do another one of these sessions, and I'm going to be doing research. And Sunday I will too. So if there's anything I missed, take a look. Otherwise, I'll be doing research on the ones that I am interested in from a long perspective. Might get to a short video, probably not. I just don't think the time is right. I don't think we're in that environment yet, and I don't want to get people buying shorts if it's not warranted. Thank you, Wild Frenchie. Thank you, Chris. Love you guys. Yep, thank you, Lou. Lisa, your comment should be up in a second. You guys have a good rest of your day, a great weekend, and watch my China video, or at least play that shit in the background and comment on it and like it, so you can help me promote it. I would be greatly appreciative, and on X if you could share it too. I want people to know what's coming. It's very important. See you guys. Have a good weekend. Peace.